Lions fans, the city of Detroit. When we were 0-16, you never stopped showing up. You were disappointed, but you never stopped showing up. Every week you showed up. This motivated me to do the same thing for you. I want you to know, Michigan is our home, Detroit is our city, and Lions fans are our pride. Because I left it all on the field and enjoyed every moment.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 26 of Line Up, a Detroit Lions podcast. James, Andrew, and Matt on the ones and twos here to give you another breakdown of Detroit Lions football of the 2022 season. I think the fan base, honestly, is just at a loss for words at this moment in time. Obviously, there's many good reasons that's happening this season, or many good things that are happening right now in the season, but there's equally as many horrible things going on right now. Just a few things to really, hit or right off the bat. Best offense in the league right now. Worst defense in the league right now. So take that how you want it. We're pretty much dead even in points per game and points given up, 35 and 35.2. So I mean, it's just an out of control start to the year. These last 2 weeks have frustrating. I don't even know if that is the right word, because 2 games that we should have, sealed a win in. This game, totally different circumstance compared to Vikings. It was a blown game. We tried, saving ourselves at the end, but it didn't work. And then we got the Seahawks game where we looked beat all off the bat. So, Matt or Andrew, I mean, where to begin here?
I don't know where to begin. You can't play catch up the entire game, I think, is the moral of the story. It's hard to play catch up from start to finish, and there's only so much scoring you can do. So there is a lot of questions on the defensive side of the ball, and Aaron Glenn's probably having a few sleepless nights. So
yeah, like how can you expect to win a game when I don't even think we had a chance to tie a game up after the first quarter? Like anytime we scored 7, they score 7. We score 3, they score 3. It was never an opportunity to actually get back into it and try to take a lead. And that was such a frustrating day. Just thinking how bad we played on one side of the ball and how great we played on the other, with all the injuries we had, everything like that. That just didn't go as planned, from top to bottom.
It really is unbelievable when you look at this, because I mean, again, just going into the game a week ago, right? So like when we previewed this game last week, just some things to bring back. The Lions were, heavy front runners of this game. We were, -7, but then the injury plague, yes, I will use the word plague, hit the Detroit Lions organization. We just started dropping like flies as the days gone on. We expected Swift to pretty much be out, but then, the St. Brown news came, shortly after that. And then, all right, next man up is Shark, right, for offense. And then bang, he's out. And then Josh Reynolds on Saturday afternoon becomes our number 1 wide receiver. And then even he was questionable. So it was like, who is playing for this game? And then, Jamal Williams, took that lead back roll and ran with it, seamlessly. So, I mean, he is a dark horse MVP for the year already. We'll get into him later in the show. But, a week ago, we were heavy front runners. Seahawks, again, a team that adjusting to life without Russell Wilson, struggling with Geno Smith as their new leader, struggled severely scoring points in their first 3 games of the year. So 47 points they scored, and now look what they just dropped to us in one game. They beat that, So everything was leading to a Lions win. This was a huge game for us. Was it a must win? I think it was just a lock. I don't know, but I mean, we just, I don't know. This is just a total frustrating loss, and I mean, like, you probably can nitpick about every little thing here, but I mean, Andrew, what sort of before we just go total bash mode? I mean, like, the offense was, something we could praise, obviously, right? But we didn't win, and it's definitely something at the end of the day that we can't expect Goff to put up 30 points a game. It's unrealistic. A football team just can't do that every week. But I mean, what is, again, is something that's sticking out for you as just like a clear cut, like, thank God we have that working right now as a positive.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you ask from Jared Goff? Obviously, besides throwing a pick six to start a half, I think that one, when you see that, I think it was the first play of the second half, to be honest, that was really deflating just to see. But if you take that out, like what he was able to do, put up 45 points with your number one running back out, basically two of your best receivers, and still just battle from start to finish. I love what I'm seeing out of him still. And I like how, the security blanket, if you want to call him that, of St. Brown, like, he goes away and you create another one. You don't have, like, crap, where am I going from here? I don't have a guy that I trust anymore. I just spray the ball around, start making mistakes, miscommunications. Because I feel like we were seeing that in the first week, like guys breaking left, he's throwing right, and whatever it was. I mean, this seemed like, he finds comfort in different receivers. Hawkinson's able to step up and have the biggest day of his career by far, in my opinion. So I like seeing that he just seems to be still building on everything. The communication is there, the trust in everyone he's throwing to. Jamal Williams is probably as reliable as they come for a second running back on our roster.
Yeah.
I just feel like things were really clicking on the offensive side of the ball, minus a few mishaps. And it just sucks that for as good as they've looked, so much better than probably anyone would have imagined at this point in the season, it's just outshined by other areas that need to just be completely revamped.
Yeah, and Hawk came back, had a great game, right? He lit up the scoreboard. Thank God for him. He at least kept this one going. He basically cracked 180 receiving yards. He needed this breakout game more than anything right now, especially with where he is, contract situation, performance wise. Just the multiple factors on the offense for were key players that had to step up more than ever, and they did, and everyone pulled their weight. The line did a great job. Obviously, we put up all those points. Goff a little again, I'd love to see him get a little more accurate, but again, he threw near 40 passes, yesterday, almost cracked 400 yards, just like 20 shy of that. Good ratio, right? 4 touchdowns. That one interception really killed us. But I can't say that that's what decided the game. I think a lot of people in the media right now and Twitter are saying that was the deciding factor. No, if we had 2 forced punts, that probably could have been the deciding factor. We never made their punter get on the field. Matt, you ever see anything like that?
No, I mean, I've never seen so few punts from an opponent in a game.
And a game that you could have won too, which is just the wildest part of it.
Yes. And if you have, say you're ranked at the bottom of the league in defense, if you have a defense that's 3 or 4 notches above that, you probably do win that game. Probably. Right? So the lack of they didn't need a kick. They're converting 2nd and 25s, 3rd and 20s, 3rd and 16s, 3rd and 9s. They're just, I watched one sequence in the 3rd quarter where Gino had was 2nd and 25, and there was just no pressure. And there was no panic by him in the pocket. He just took it underneath her to lock it for 16, 15 yards, and the Lions are playing prevent. They're playing 2 deep shell. And he just sat back there, 15-yard chunk. I'll take that. Great. 3rd and 9, scramble first down. You don't have to punt when you're picking up chunk yardage like that and just feasting in the middle of the field. Metcalf was just a man possessed, and Lockett was running all over the place. So, I mean, no punts, no problem for them. Their 3rd down success rate was insane. So,
Yeah, and that killed us. It really did because I mean those were possessions where we could have had a takeaway or two, at least getting the ball back, and and we could actually got points and maybe change the game a little bit. But we never allowed that to happen. We were playing catch up the whole game. The defense. I mean, if you look at just how this, the scoring drives. 7, 14, 17, 24, like every time they had the ball, they basically scored. So it's like they capitalized on every opportunity we gave them. We didn't pressure them on 2nd and 20. They got a first down. We gave them 3rd and 15 space. We committed a flag or we gave them a first down, right? Or a penalty that got them into kicking range. They hit their field goals. We didn't. Topic to freak out now on. Extra point decision calling. Where to even begin with this? Do we first start off with the person that was selected to play this week or the play calling throughout that whole game too? Because yes, it's easy to say just by simple math at one point where if we made those 2 extra points and we didn't go for it on that one touchdown where we went for 2 and we failed, that there was a point at one time that it would have been a tie game. Yes, things could have been very different, but like when you can think of it like that, it just goes, what the hell were we thinking? And again, I like the aggressiveness, but like if we had the same conversation last week, with Cyber being hurt. If we're not going to kick, just don't even put him on the field. If there's no confidence, what do you think, Andrew? Like what this was eating you up yesterday?
No, I mean, I don't know what the story was in warm-up. So like if he was hitting everything or missing, because I feel like that sometimes plays into the coaching decisions if they just feel it that day or not. But I mean, I don't know. It just sucks having your second string, third string kicker coming in. And at the minimum, you need to hit extra points. Like I understand if you throw them out, you're in a dome. So maybe you can hit a little bit deeper field goals. The wind isn't a factor, all these different things. At the minimum, you got to put the extra point on the board. And to miss that twice it's just so infuriating as a fan. And it just makes you question everything, from the prior week's practices and everything. Like, this guy's hurt, Cyber's hurt. Find a guy that can do a job. And it's like, all right, are we not, getting the right guys in the building to replace? And I feel like the questions just roll from there, and it's awful just to see. It's like, I mean, not to say we were ever that close in the game, but the little things like that really just took a toll, and probably, I mean, they definitely made a big difference. Obviously, missing 2 extra points, I think both were in the first half, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going back to the kicking woes that I feel like we had right before we got Matt Prater, when we were just cycling through a kicker, new one every week, and that was something. It's a feeling you never want to have, and having it come back, it's
something. It's something I want to look at more. Like with Hard Knocks, we got no attention from the special teams, but like Matt, I know you definitely were a big fan of Riley, but like how bad was Riley in training camp to not get this job?
Oh, he was terrible in training camp. No, like just 13 to 14, 7 to 8, really bad numbers last year. 13 to 14 on field goals last year, 16 out of 16 on PATs. Yeah, I can't speak anymore about that because I've already exhausted my fumes on that. Like we talked about that for 3 pods. That's one of the dumbest decisions of all of camp was that. And now you're seeing the byproduct. I mean, it's just, and Austin Seibert's older. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. Don't understand it. But now the Lions are paying. They're paying for it. So I don't feel sorry for him.
And I mean, we've seen time and time again, like kickers that are record-setting, historically amazing in college, just don't translate into the NFL. You could be setting career-long kicks. Your percentage is through the roof. You get drafted, you go to a team, and you just can't figure it out anymore. And maybe that's the case here. I don't know. But yeah, no, these are just kicking woes that I wish we never have to face again, but they just keep crawling up.
There's guys out there who can kick. Rodrigo is a guy who can kick. We talked about Blankenship. That guy can kick.
having two Rodrigos on the team would be pretty awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Not gonna lie.
That's a good omen.
We're just giving away points when we can't stop anybody.
Well, that's the issue. That's exactly the issue.
I'm gonna bring up another quick issue here while I have PFF up in front of me. Real quick, our pass blocking grades for our offensive linemen are abysmal. They're actually abysmal.
Offensive blocking.
Yep, Penny Sewell's got good pass blocking ratings. Frank Ragnow, his pass blocking in true passing sets, 38%.
Wow.
30. Yeah, it's very bad. And I know Frank's just coming off the IR, not good. Matt Nelson, good in true pass blocking sets, in all pressures allowed in all sets, running plays too, 53rd. Like, it's just not good. And even Taylor Decker's pass blocking in true passing sets is not good. You know, and Dan Skipper's numbers are abysmal. So the strength is on paper not looking so much like a strength. A good running game is just masking it up, and a good wide receiver set. But even that is looking shady right now.
I mean, that's even a credit to Goff too. Like if he's able to put up the numbers and everything that he has with numbers like that aren't anything impressive, or if anything, subpar. Shout out to him. That he's improved drastically more than I expected. If that's the case too.
Yeah, he's done everything and more from what we could have asked him to do. And I mean, he's taken leaps up in terms of the type of leader he's been. The guys are relying on him. He's being a vocal captain for this team. It's been everything that I think we're hoping we'd get by almost a season and a half with him. And again, I mean, I think he's making us turn our head a second time about is he in Detroit next year? It's not a crazy thought now after seeing how he's performed in these short 4 games. We got a long season to go, but he's done everything right. Outside of being a little risky in some passes when you threw some picks. I mean, everyone's going to do that. You can't yell at him for that. But I mean, he's not the problem right now. He's a clear MVP right now for our team. Paired with Jamal Williams, I would say right now are just two people lighting it up. Durability, consistency, and going out there and giving everything they got. And now I think just the big question right now, before we circle back to the Seahawks game, is the pup is up, right? 4 games done. People are technically free to return, right? We have a interesting situation where it's we have a 1 game and then we have a bye. So great chance that, we just sort of use this additional game for these guys to truly rest up and get right. So then we get the bye week as well. So it's 2.5 weeks still. In my opinion, it's not going to solve the problem short term. I mean, what do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at the names that are on the pup that can come off. Obviously, everyone's super hyped about Jameson Williams. Wide receiving core is not the issue. I think you got to look at the defensive side of the ball. And, I mean, everyone's just ripping on Amani right now. But Jerry Jacobs, he was an undrafted rookie last year. He played better than you expected, but
yeah,
you're not getting a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback coming off the pup. So I think everyone needs to temper their expectations if they think that he's really going to be the solution there. And then
Levi,
you got
Romeo,
the guys up front
Josh.
It's what have we seen out of Levi to make us think that he's worth that 2nd-round pick so far? I mean, obviously he has the talent. If we took him there, we think he does, but we got to see it actually translate to the field. Romeo, I mean, that's an Achilles injury that he had, right? That's not something you can just come back in a year or less and get back to form. Some guys never do. Some guys it takes a few years. James Robinson in Jacksonville, he's looking like he kind of cracked that mold, but everyone else really seems to struggle with it for a few seasons. And I mean, Pascal, he's a rookie. What do you really expect? Hutchinson isn't doing as much as you probably would have thought for number 2 overall pick. So what is a 2nd-rounder that's dealing with injuries going to do? So I mean, I don't see the future being much brighter going forward, at least in the short term on the defensive side. And it just makes you think, what shakeup do we have to have from the coaching staff and the personnel, and anything else to fix it? I don't know, but I don't look at any name coming off this list thinking that we're gonna get back to an elite defense as if we ever had one. I don't know.
Yeah, these names leave a lot to be desired, right? And Romeo has been good when he's healthy, but like you said, we've had a couple of guys on the defensive side of the ball, like Kerry Hyder and and others who had Achilles problems and they never came back. So
Mhm.
and they never rebounded. So Achilles is tough. It depends on the player, but I think Drew nailed it when he said, these aren't names that are going to light up the scoreboard. They have not proven to do so. So I mean, expectations are low, but defensively, we just got to get better and hoping Pascal can step in and Levi can step in and be better than what they were.
Yeah, it's brutal. It absolutely is. So I mean, it's something's got to give. Whether all the practice this whole week, you got to see some type of change this week before you go into the bye to have any type of hope for. I mean, the fan base is getting cranky with this. I mean, I think it's almost like we're getting praised online for being such a powerhouse offense right now, but also sneakily being mocked as about to be the worst defense in NFL history. But like we own both categories right now. So it's like it's very weird. It's very weird. And it could be time to make a trade. It might be officially the time to make a trade.
We're facing a third string quarterback next week potentially, and then we get a bye week. So I think that will be the indicator of if something needs to be done. But then again, if we lose to the Patriots and we get a bye week, 1-4, why are you going to bring someone in and waste trade capital or anything else like that? So I don't know if the trade's the answer unless we actually think that we're going to, go somewhere with a high-powered offense that we seem to have right now. Maybe that's something that's worth exploring. But yeah, I don't know. If Zappy, I think his name is, if he's tearing us up next week, then we need to do something drastic, in my opinion, because we can't just keep giving up 500 plus yards every week to not good teams.
Bailey Zappi, an elite college quarterback at Western Kentucky, and like number one in passing yards all time as a AA. Don't know how it's going to translate to the pros, but certainly good enough to compete with the Packers yesterday. That's for sure. So don't know, but I'm not opposed if we win this game and we're moving forward at 2-3, whatever the hell we are. You can't not consider a trade to try to get better if the player we get back in return is willing to entertain the idea of signing long term, right? That's got to be an option. Now, you're not going to sign a rental player, I don't think. But if this is someone who's young, can play D, and is willing to stay, and we're willing to give up a young offensive piece to get him, because we have too many cooks in the fucking kitchen, pardon my language, just too many. And when Jameson comes back, it's going to get worse. So I'm willing to give up an offensive piece to get a D guy who's willing to sign a little bit longer, play D for us, and be productive in the here and now. So
yeah, I mean, it makes you think too. Like if we do, say we're 2-5, I don't know when the trade deadline is and what our record can be, but if we don't get wins, who are pieces that we can trade away, like you just said, and try to stack for the future? Because if we keep going at this rate and not winning ball games, and it goes into next year, how much longer do you have with the coaching staff and the regime and everything like that? So it makes you think right now if we can sacrifice the rest of the season, get a second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, guys that, obviously St. Brown's a fourth round pick, he's killing it. So, it provides value to us. So if that's something that we can look into, I said before the season, this is not the year that I'm going to be counting wins and losses, even though it's hard to do that when it's actually taking place. But we can see how it goes, and maybe that's something that in the off season, it pans out looking back.
Yeah, so let's break down a little bit of that second half too, right? So I mean, we ended the first half with that 1 yard run. We tried pounding the gut, 2 straight times, had a pass that was incomplete. In all honesty, I was like, this is 4 down territory. I was like, we cannot leave this 1 yard play up for grabs right now and not get 6 on the scoreboard. So we thankfully got in there, missed another field goal. Was that the one we missed a field goal on, or we went for 2? I can't even remember.
2.
Went for 2 and missed it. That's right. So, which was huge, right? Because we got the ball back. We had a little momentum, down 9, totally, in play to keep it competitive. And, again, 40-yard interception, right? And Seahawks, score, right? The The Jamal Williams run after that was, again, another beautiful play and very quick offensive set by the Lions. And again, it was everything that they did right. Play calling, sort of exploiting the defense. Because, I mean, again, the Seahawks don't have a good defense. I mean, we saw it yesterday. We attacked them, gracefully, and it was something good. So, Jamal looked really comfortable out there. Craig, for some reason, I feel like he only got like one nice carry in the first half, and then he was pretty vacant for him for the rest of the game. He might have like one or two more plays, but I was expecting a big pickup for him. It just didn't come out. I just saw, Jackson got some reps too. But Andrew, I mean, what would you really say was the turning point or the X factor that essentially, forced this loss? Because I do think it came in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even the pick six is tough to label that because we still had not momentum, but we still had some time there.
There was so much time.
That 35-yard draw up the middle, I think there was that play. Just Penny going untouched on the phantom redo of the play, whatever you want to consider that. That was just tough to watch. I feel like Seattle's players stopped the play before and heard the whistle.
They
so
did.
I feel like it makes sense why we got the stop there technically. But just to see the second play happen there, the repeat, and I don't think we got a hand on him for 35 yards right up the middle. That was a gut punch because I feel like that was like the moment in my mind. It was, okay, we're never going to stop them. Momentum is never going to fully swing back in our direction. And we're just going to, like, the longer we think we're going to get into it and have a chance of winning, the more we're going to be pissed at the end. That I think was the turning point to me. It just never felt like from there we were ever going to get back into it.
Yeah, typical Lions game fashion, though, trying to inch your way back into this game because it was really only an 8-point game at that point. If you stopped them, that's a deep 53-yard field goal, right? Myers before that in the first half hit a 56-yarder, but again, 50-plus field goals are tough to hit, right? So I mean, you missed that. You got the ball on basically at midfield. We were cruising. Who knows what happens there? We have a tie game if this doesn't happen, right? But the play goes dead. Incomplete pass. It didn't even look like that they were trying to go for the first down, which is what was sort of pissing me off too, because it was definitely third and long. The Seahawks on that next play, after the refs gave us whatever nonsense that it was called, which I agree on. I mean, I think the play was dead. We just didn't want to accept it based on what was happening. But the Seahawks changed their play. We didn't. We literally just went back and acted like nothing happened. And then they were like, okay, boom, wide open, draw play up the middle. Not a single person was touched, like you said, Andrew. I mean, that was just the nail in the coffin for me. And like, the feeling of defeat where it's like that hopeless feeling. You're like, we can't do anything. Like all hope was lost at that point. And that was pretty much right before the end of the quarter. But like you see that happen after what your defense was continuously failing to do all game, just to see that it's like, why watch, right? It's basically just like someone call me anytime the Lions get the ball and let me know if the Seahawks score, because they were every single time. It was just predicted programming at that point. It was horrible.
Yeah, those empty linebacker sets the Lions were running. At one point, I can understand it because
max of two, if they're even doing them there right now. It's wide open.
Right. But they were blitzing the linebackers and leaving no help behind that front line of defense. And they were just running right through it, and there was nobody home. But you got to give a little credit to Geno Smith because he was literally just reading, do I have linebackers high? Do I have linebackers down? And then just changed the play. Like he was literally audibly into slants for Lockett and Metcalf. And when they had the linebackers back, they were drawn into runs. Like, you got to give him a little credit. I don't want to, but he was just taking what we gave him. And,
No, he capitalized. Absolutely.
Right. And that draw play, like you said, to your point, that was literally a give-up run. They were looking to kick there, probably.
Yeah.
And once he breaks that first line, there's nobody home to tackle him except for Okuda, and then that was it.
He just kept growing in speed as every yard he gained, and then he was out.
You can make that mistake one time. You can do that once. But to see that twice and then the back end of the game with Penny had that long run at the back end of the game, same thing, no linebackers back, looking to blitz, and he just bounced it out and there's nobody home. So it's make it once, you can forgive it, but 2 times, can't.
That was it. Yeah, no. And I mean, again, Metcalf had a nice game. He was 7 for 150, didn't get in the end zone, but we were playing contain and prevent with him. He honestly had a few plays where he was potentially able to break out, but we did get a nice hold on him. But we did nothing to help ourselves. And then you look at Rashad Penny going 17 for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. That 35-yard play wasn't even his longest run. It was a 41-yard play. So, I mean, like, right there alone, 2 plays pretty much, added up to 80 yards of rushing right there. So, I mean, you take that out, he had a whatever type of game. So, it's same shit, different day with the Lions. So we have some serious work to do. And then, again, fourth quarter, again, was another dramatic Lions Broadway fashion game. Who wants to really break down that onside kick, because that was a blown play. The ball was ours.
Yeah, they had a chance to recover it. Yeah, literally. The Seahawks were giving it to him. He touched the ball. Yeah,
it should have been a penalty. He didn't even hit it far enough.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. It should have been a penalty, but he touched. You got to get that ball. It's there. There's Lions players all around the football. Not many Seahawks there from that play. I watched it twice, so got to have that ball. Again, another blown fucking opportunity. How many blown opportunities can you have in one game? So many. It's actually mind blowing. But yeah, that was ours to take.
Yeah, you just knew it wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't a great kick either, but it was enough. It took a wacky kind of backspin kind of turn at the end there. It wasn't a great kick. It might have been the best kick the guy had all day, but ours for the taking.
It's a good point. You didn't trust him with anything besides the outside.
I just can't believe that they never punted the ball.
And you also got to. You have to. Gino is throwing the ball well. I get it. But if you're having 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 7s, you almost got to pick your poison. Where it's like, you got to make Gino make the throw. You got to make Gino make the throw. And instead of having him scramble for 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, you can't let him run with his legs. You got to make him make a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was coming so damn easy to him, though. Like the rollout, it seemed like he goes that way. Easy 8 yards for the first down. Easy 12 yards. I mean, I feel like I saw that play 40 times. That's not it.
Oh, we didn't learn our lesson from that rollout to the right, and then you just do a little. Whoever's running that, jump off for that, or the drag by the tight end. Like, we didn't learn our lesson. We didn't adapt, and we didn't stop. So it was, again, horrible. The game was horrible. It really was.
It was really bad.
So, I mean, again, a blessing, an absolute blessing, is to have this team at 2-3 at bye week next week. I don't know how. I think the Patriots have a better offense. I think they have a better defense. So we, unfortunately, I think from the lack of trust we have right now, we have to say, if Goff can't get us 32 points, we're screwed. And there's absolutely never a time as a Lions fan that we should ever have to think that, for a defense being that bad. And it's frustrating that the Vikings won on double doink. And then the Packers are now back into winning form. The Bears almost won. So now they're still ahead of us. And we're sitting in the bottom of the NFC North with a record that should not reflect our talent, our capabilities, and our skills. And that's, like, honestly the worst part about just dealing with this first thing. And like I said in August, Hard Knocks was awesome. The media coverage was awesome. The hype was awesome. Push comes to shove now. It's a quarter in the season. We're 1-3, labeled as the worst defense. And the worst may not be here yet if this continues in this direction. So I don't want to have the hot seat conversation yet, because I do think we have a lot of life on this season, but you just feel like your heart gets pulled out like 3 times per quarter, and then especially at the end of the game, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, of course we're going to start thinking that. I don't want to have mock draft talks yet, you know? But so anyway, the Patriots, matchup this upcoming week, it's a must win. I think this is officially the must win game. We let the last 2 slide. Now, little quick preview. We have Pup coming back, like Andrew stated before. Kabinda, Jacobs, Levi, Aquara, Josh Pascal, our 2nd round pick. Really waiting to see what he can do. Come back from that hernia injury. Jameson, we don't know yet what that timetable is. It sounds like Jerry Jeudy might be the only one that's realistic to play this upcoming week. From just a quick news blip that I just read.
Jerry Jacobs, not Jerry Jeudy. Just want to correct that.
Jerry Jeudy, sorry. Jerry Jacobs, yes, correct. It looks like he's practicing. Hopefully we'll give us some cornerback depth right now. But what do you guys think going into this game? Mac Jones is out as of right now. Hoyer's hurt with a head injury. We have a few new injuries on the list. We got Cephas. A few other people are banged up. Questionable for I think Swift is going to be out based on what they said. St. Brown hopefully is going to be back. Shark, they didn't even bother really saying what was really wrong with him. But, we took a risk on a guy who had 1 healthy season, and the true colors are coming out for him, and he's not earning his paycheck yet, in my opinion. Shark. That was a game for him to really, become, a Lion wide receiver, and, Josh Reynolds is leapfrogged over him easily, for just from talent right now and output. So, just being as low as possible right now in terms of trust and faith into the Sunday. What are you guys thinking going into this? I think New England's favored at about like 2.5 right now.
Yeah, I think it's 3, right? Can someone confirm that? 3?
It's probably
Yeah.
it's probably one
Right
of the
now
other
it's looking
based
at
on where-
2.5. New England favored and over under 46.5.
Belichick's the scheming master, right? So Zappy may not get too many opportunities to throw downfield, so we're going to be looking at short passes and running backs running into the flat, right? Ramondre receivers are going to be in the flat. It's going to come down to, can our linebackers get out in coverage and cover, right? And can we stop the run?
The Matt Patricia revenge game.
There's that too. There's that angle, right? And I don't want to lose to that jerk. Yeah, I think it's.
I didn't even think of that one. Ooh.
Yeah, neither did I. But it's going to be middle of the field play. Can we contain the running backs, because their wide receiver core is not that good. They just scheme really well because of Belichick. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But coverage, middle of the field, big game for that.
So, going into the actual game, fast forward, what do you think actually is? Do we get our shit together? We fold here. Like, what are you thinking for this one? And then I'll go to you, Andrew.
No, I think, honestly, if I had to come to my head, I think the Lions are going to pull this game out. I don't know if they're going to cover 3. I don't know, but this is like you said, going into the bye, you can't be 1-4.
Right.
It cannot be. The amount of talk that may come from this, if we're 1-4 going into the bye, it's going to be so negative. I can't even begin to fathom.
Mm-hmm.
So this is back against the wall. Gotta have this game. Get these guys in the lineup and say, "Yo, go out there and make a play."
Mm-hmm.
It's got to happen.
Mm-hmm. Andrew?
I think this is, if we don't come out gunning on this game, I think I'm going to be in a state of depression for the rest of October, depending on how the Yankees do. But I'm going 34-21 Lions. I think this is the last straw of, will we get that energy?
21.
Campbell.
Defensive points given up.
Yes. I think this is a sign of, or this is the game that it needs to be. Like the switch, you flip the switch, something happens, something clicks, and the offense can get some points up, and the defense needs to do something else. I think if you can't do that against a potential third string quarterback, we're gonna we're not going to like it for the rest of the season. But this is the game, in my opinion, that, especially against the backup quarterback, you need to make that adjustment and have a solidifying win like we did against Washington, where we felt like we never lost grip on it. I feel like this needs to be that game. So, and then player prediction. I like what I saw to Josh Reynolds. I like how Goff has always had a connection with him. So I think he's going to score another touchdown. I think it might depend on if Chark is back, if Amon-Ra is back, but I think Josh Reynolds is going to score another one.
Yeah, he's another one that's paid his dues already in a short time with us. He hit the ground running, end of last season and this year. He's been Mr. Reliable, really, outside of St. Brown for the receivers. So awesome season for him so far. I always, measure someone's success sometimes based off fantasy value, and he's a waiver ad now in fantasy. So he just had 22 points. So definitely liking what I'm seeing from him. It definitely complements, just our receiving core right now. And again, like Matt was saying before, we have a good problem right now with too many wide receivers that, we might be able to sell high on someone if we absolutely desperately need to make a trade. There's teams with the injury bug as well, and that's why we can not make that excuse right now of we're hurt and others aren't, because it's just not true. People are missing games, and it's just we're not doing the right thing. That's what it comes down to. But this game, Andrew, I'm gonna have to challenge that. I can't see us only giving up 21 points. If we do, we're moving in the right direction. I think that's fantastic. But I think this is going to be another brink of them just hovering that 30-point mark. I'm thinking like a 33-30 type game. The Lions, I'm picking the Lions because the Lions have to win this game. They have to win this game. I believe that they can and they should win this game, just like the last two. But this has to be a win. This absolutely has to be a win. 1-4 in the bye is not good for the coaches. It's not good for the players, and it's not good for us. It's not good for the lineup. So let's pray that is the outcome. And so you went Reynolds. So I'm gonna say we gotta grab.
While you're thinking of that,
No, I have it. Go.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I will say that I would not be shocked if we give up 30+ points to the Patriots. But I think if you're correct in this, where we're doing that, we are going to be having a conversation next week about what are we doing, a defensive coordinator, or why is there not a shakeup if they didn't announce it by that point?
Right.
So I want to keep that on the radar and get a reaction to that if that's the case. But I think the coaching staff has enough capability to make that change, make the adjustment, hopefully. But
we have to have more than 2 sacks. We have to have 3 sacks. Did we have a sack against the Seahawks? No, right? Nothing. No pressure. 0. Donut. We need 3. And that's my bet. But just overall, since we're talking about that category, there needs to be another added layer of pressure on third downs and get this quarterback to throw the ball away or just fold on these 3rd and longs. And again, if I was the offensive coordinator on the other team right now, I'm going forward on all 4 downs on us right now, because we can't stop anything, nothing at all. I don't even know the right analogy for that, but we can't. I'm not even gonna try. It's just that bad. It's just that bad. So a lot in store for this Sunday. Pray to God that we are on the right side of this outcome. And I think our bye week pod will have a lot to break down, because it's almost not quite the halfway mark, but I think we'll have a lot of just full season recap at that point of the first 5 games. I think that'll be a good topic to go over. We'll go position by position, and we'll really dissect what we've stomached over the last 5 weeks of Lions football. So 1 o'clock game Sunday. Hoping for the best, and let's get back in the win column and turn this right into the right direction, just into bye week. All right.
Hope so.
All right, lineup.
One can hope.
Yeah. Lineup, that's a wrap. Follow us on Twitter, Lineup Pod, Instagram as well. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, any other platform that you find us on, and give us a listen and spread the word. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.